The 2026 Annual Shareholders Meeting of Berkshire Hathaway, the legendary investment powerhouse built by the Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett, has just reached its dramatic conclusion. While thousands of major corporations listed on the New York Stock Exchange are currently holding their meetings simultaneously across America, the entire world's attention was laser-focused on just this one spot. Over 70,000 eager investors descended upon a massive sports arena in the middle of a small, rural town called Omaha, Nebraska. It is a remote location that often requires 3 or 4 flight transfers to reach, yet it was absolutely overflowing with people. Everyone rushed there as if they were desperately pleading, "Please give my dying portfolio some emergency financial CPR." However, the atmosphere this year was incredibly peculiar, and even a bit eerie from the very start. Uncle Buffett had officially announced his retirement this past January. He had stepped down after handpicking a sharp man named Greg Abel as his official successor. But that transition only made the public's curiosity burn hotter. Massive doubts were swirling through the air. People were asking whether Berkshire Hathaway could actually function properly or maintain its dominance without the presence of Warren Buffett. But as soon as the lights dimmed and the meeting began, a shocking image of Buffett appeared, sitting directly on the stage. The shareholders were frozen in total confusion. They began whispering to each other, "Did he get bored of retirement? In just a few months? Is the legend back already?" As it turned out, that entire scene was a sophisticated deepfake video generated by high-end artificial intelligence. It was a calculated performance prepared by Berkshire itself to give the shareholders a brief, heart-stopping surprise. In the digital projection, Buffett tossed out a few cryptic words about the future and then vanished into thin air after saying, "Actually, everything you just saw was a fake." It was a classic piece of high-level, cynical humor. Following that, the camera panned to the real, 95-year-old Buffett, who was sitting quietly in the audience amongst the regular shareholders. His message was loud and clear: "I have truly walked away." While the applause was at its peak, "Now, I am just an old man watching from the sidelines. Stop looking at me and start focusing on Greg." But the part that truly gives you chills and sends a shiver down your spine happened immediately after that. As soon as the retired Buffett was surrounded by reporters in the stands, he unleashed a fierce, unfiltered critique of the global economy, as if he had been waiting for this exact moment to speak his mind. He warned with a stone-cold expression that the current state of the global stock market looks less like an investment hub and more like a chaotic gambling hall. He stated flatly that he has never seen such a reckless mess in his entire long history of investing. He didn't just suggest caution. He strongly urged anyone planning to put money into stocks right now to stop immediately. He was visibly clicking his tongue at the insane, drug-fueled party of short-term speculation that is currently driving the New York Stock Exchange into dangerous territory. What is even more frightening for the average investor is that this man isn't just trying to scare people with empty words. If you look at the cold, hard data from the past 12 months, Berkshire Hathaway made almost zero significant stock investments. In fact, they didn't just stop buying. They aggressively sold off a massive portion of the blue-chip shares they had held for years, including a huge chunk of their Apple holdings. They have deliberately shrunk their investment portfolio to a level we haven't seen in a long time. What did they choose to increase instead? Cash, pure, liquid cash. They have piled up mountains of currency from these massive sell-offs. When the world's greatest investment firm stops buying and instead sits on a giant heap of cash, it is a powerful, undeniable death sentence signal. It means they are sitting in a bunker, waiting for a total market collapse to happen. To put this into perspective, Berkshire Hathaway is currently holding a staggering 590 trillion Korean won in liquid cash reserves. When you realize that South Korea's entire annual national budget is approximately 727 trillion won, you start to grasp the scale. A single private company has secured a war chest that rivals the financial power of an entire developed nation. And where exactly did they park this astronomical sum of money? They didn't put it in a bank account or a gold vault. They put it into short-term United States Treasury bills. They are sitting back, comfortably, collecting high interest rates from these government bonds, while they wait for the exact moment when market panic hits and the prices of elite companies drop to absolute rock bottom. Uncle Buffett is acting like a cold-blooded real estate tycoon who refuses to buy a single house until the entire neighborhood goes into foreclosure. You all remember the fundamental theory of value investing created by Benjamin Graham, Buffett's legendary mentor, don't you? He was the genius who first established the core metrics we use today, like the price-to-earnings ratio and the price-to-book ratio. Buffett and his team believe that these market indicators are currently flashing bright red, showing a situation even more unstable than the dot-com bubble of the early 2000s. Buffett keeps repeating his most famous warning, only when the tide goes out do you discover who has been swimming naked. What he is saying right now is that the current artificial intelligence hype is like a massive, artificial high tide covering up everyone's flaws. But once that hype dies down and the water recedes, countless investors who followed the crowd will be left standing in the nude, screaming in financial ruin. So, if the world is on fire, what are the thoughts of the new captain at the helm? Greg Abel? Make no mistake, this man is no soft-hearted pushover. He is a Canadian-born accountant by trade and a self-made wolf, who rose from being a delivery boy in a working-class family to leading the world's most powerful investment firm. Abel's message at this meeting was sharp and definitive. Chaos in the global market is not just a possibility. It is an absolute certainty. We are perfectly prepared to act the very second it happens, and we have already finalized our secret list of companies to buy. The moment the crash begins, it is a specific type of cynical confidence that perfectly mirrors his mentor, Warren Buffett. Greg Abel is especially dangerous because he is a deep expert in the field of energy and infrastructure. While every other investor on Wall Street is chasing the latest artificial intelligence software or shiny new data centers, Abel is looking at the electricity bill that will be required to run those massive facilities. His cold calculation is simple. As artificial intelligence continues its explosive growth, the global demand for raw power will skyrocket to unprecedented levels. This will make energy producers and power infrastructure companies the ultimate, long-term winners of this era. This is precisely why Berkshire Hathaway is currently pouring immense capital and effort into old-school oil companies and massive power grids. While the rest of the world is busy admiring the beautiful flowers of technology, the Berkshire team is in the back, sharpening their shears, waiting to take those flowers home for a fraction of the cost. Please, do not take this warning from Buffett and Abel lightly. There is a very specific, calculated reason why these legends of the financial world have liquidated their assets into $590 trillion in cash, and are now holding their collective breath. You might feel a rush of adrenaline right now as you ride a galloping horse through this bull market, but you must stay awake and alert. You never know when the market makers will decide to pull the plug on the pool and leave everyone dry. The moment I obtain even a hint of that secret shopping list that Buffett and Abel are keeping in their vault, I will share it with you immediately on this channel. Until then, keep your eyes on the macro charts and your hands off the buy button for a moment. Stay sharp, stay cynical, and I will see you in the next update. Happy investing, or rather, happy waiting.